The silver morning mist clings to every brick in the city. It softens the edges of the buildings, blurs the distant street, and turns the air cold enough to prickle Elias's cheeks. He leans against the rain-streaked wall, and he does not move. His gaze is fixed on the glass storefront across the street. Faded travel posters are taped edge to edge across the glass. One shows snow-capped peaks that pierce a cloudless blue sky. Another shows turquoise water that rolls soft against pale sand. A third shows green valleys stretching for miles, thick with wild purple flowers. Every poster pulls at him, like a hand around his throat. He shoves his hand into his pocket and closes his fingers around the coins there. He counts them by touch, one by one. 3 small coppers. That is all. It is barely enough to buy a loaf of bread for dinner. It will never buy a train ticket. It will never get him out of this foggy, gray city, not even for a day. He presses his knuckles into the brick behind him until his knuckles turn white. He clenches his jaw and he whispers the words that have been burning in his chest for months. I would give anything to see the paradise they speak of. Anything. 3 days pass, thick with the same gray fog, the same stale bread, the same empty longing that drags Elias through every hour. He turns down a new side street on his way back from work, and something catches his eye. A narrow gap between 2 brick buildings, draped in shadow, that he has never seen before in all his years walking this route. The entrance is overgrown with ivy, and the path is crumbled with loose brick. He hesitates for only 3 heartbeats, then steps through. The alley is shorter than it looks. It opens into a small, dead-end courtyard, and at the back sits a tiny shop. A cracked wooden sign hangs above the door, carved with 3 words that catch the faint light. Dream Maker. Elias steps forward, his boots crunching on loose gravel. He reaches out a hand to turn the door handle. The door creaks open before his fingers touch the wood. Thick, cool shadow spills out into the courtyard, swallowing the edge of his boots. A low, rough voice drifts from the back of the shop, as if it has been waiting for him this whole time. I can give you a ticket to the ultimate paradise. You will see colors no human has ever witnessed. But there is a price. Elias steps over the threshold, his boots tapping soft against the cold stone floor. The sound echoes off the unseen walls. He does not stop. Name it. The voice pauses. The silence stretches, long enough for Elias's throat to go dry. You give me your eyes. But only after the journey is over. Elias does not hesitate. The burning hunger in his chest pushes every other thought aside. He steps closer to the counter that rises out of the shadow. He presses his palm flat on the tattered parchment the dealer slides toward him. He signs his name with a charcoal stick provided, inked in his own blood when the charcoal snaps. He closes his fingers around the golden ticket pressed into his palm. It is warm, even through his calloused skin. Elias boards the invisible train at dawn that same day. The journey unfolds one breathtaking sight at a time, for 7 straight days. The first morning, he stands at the foot of mountains hewn from solid gold. The sun hits their slopes and sends light pouring out, bright enough to make his cheeks warm. That night, he camps beside a river that flows with liquid diamonds. Each ripple catches the moonlight and scatters silver sparks across the grassy bank. He picks a fruit from a nearby tree, its skin glowing soft pink in the dark. He bites into it, and the juice bursts across his tongue, sweeter than any honey he has ever tasted. For the first 12 hours, he can barely breathe. Every step brings a new wonder he never dared to imagine. But by the end of the first day, a cold, thin thread of fear works its way into his chest. It tangles around every beautiful sight, blunts every edge of awe. He keeps walking, keeps turning his head to take in the views, but the thread pulls tighter with every hour. He stops beside a field of blue wildflowers, petals so bright they look like they glow from within. He leans down, close enough to smell their honeyed scent, and all he can think is, I will never see anything like this again after 7 days. He pulls his pocket watch from his belt, flips open the cover, and counts the minutes that have passed. He does it again, 10 minutes later. By the 4th day, he counts the remaining days out loud. voice rough in the quiet mountain air. The seventh day arrives at dawn, and Elias steps off the invisible train back onto the cracked cobblestones of the alley. He walks straight to the Dreammaker's shop door, and this time, he turns the handle himself. The door swings open. The same thick shadow waits inside. The same low hum of silence clinging to the stone walls. The dealer stands behind the wooden counter, waiting exactly where he stood 7 days before. Elias walks forward, his whole body trembling so hard his teeth almost chatter. Every muscle is tight, coiled around the dread he has carried for a week. He pulls the crumpled, empty ticket stub from his pocket and drops it on the worn wood between them. It taps once, then settles. "Take them," he says. His voice is rough, scraped raw from 7 days of silent counting. "I have seen it all, but my heart is heavy with fear. I am ready." The dealer smiles. It is a soft sound, low and echoing off the unseen walls of the shop. It is not the cold, triumphant sound Elias expected. "My friend," the dealer says, "I don't need to take your eyes. I already have them." Elias blinks. His brow furrows. He glances from the dealer's shadowed face, to the door, to the ticket stub on the counter. Every edge, every line, every crack in the wood is still sharp and clear. "What do you mean?" he says. "I can still see." He lifts a hand, counts his fingers one by one. To prove it, they are still visible. Every nail, every callus, every line on his skin. The dealer leans forward, just enough for his voice to drop softer, closer. "You looked at paradise, but you never saw it. You were so busy mourning your sight that you forgot to use it. You were blind the entire trip." Elias steps back out of the shop onto the city street. The silver morning mist that wrapped the city for as long as he can remember has lifted. The sun breaks through the clouds, warm and solid on the skin of his face. He looks down at the sidewalk at his feet. A small white clover pushes through a crack in the concrete, its 3 leaves bright and green against the gray. A drop of leftover rain falls from the awning above and hits the back of his hand, cool and sharp against his skin. He tilts his head up. The sun gilds every edge of the brick buildings around him, every smudge of graffiti, every cracked window frame. For the first time in his whole life, he sees them. Tears roll down his cheeks, and he does not wipe them away. He can see. "This is the lesson we spend our whole lives learning. We chase a perfect paradise we can never reach. We worry about the future, mourn what we do not have, and forget the beauty that sits right in front of us. We are already standing in the paradise we seek. Do not sell your today for a future you will never get to enjoy." This is Daily Path Lessons. Don't forget to subscribe, and go find the beauty waiting for you in your today.